everyone forgets the criticality of these things, and the nature of what they really mean when we all live by them in support of a common goal. And our job as leaders is to continue to instill those things within the business. And so I don't think there's such a thing as too much talking about your core values as a business. And I love the story of you're sitting in a room and one of your people says something like, hey, what would it look like if we did this? It's like, we've arrived. Somebody said it without me bringing it up. I think that there's a lot of ways to do this. And I think that a lot of companies miss because they're either doing the aspirational wall poster thing, or they throw them together really thoughtfully and then they stick them on a shelf. And they don't become a lived experience, And the hard thing to do as a leader is to create accountability around the values that you create for your business, because you have to make tough decisions sometimes that don't align with a performance outcome or a person sticking around or whatever the thing is that you'd otherwise like to see happen. And you gotta be careful, because you will put yourself into a position where you're gonna have to make decisions yourself as the leader of the business based on the values that you and your team created that are really uncomfortable decisions.
Building on that, this is so important. I've often thought this phrase, sent is not received.
Yeah, it's a great way to say it.
So as a leader, like, hey, I espouse my 37 values. My job here is done. They better live and embrace them. And sent is not received. And so your point about rituals and reinforcements and repetition, that's how ideas come to life.
Yeah.
And I love that you're doing that. And my research, by the way, studying great leaders and working with people, that's a crucial fault line. Is that you just say it or do you reinforce it?
Yeah.
There's a guy that I interviewed for my most recent book, and I was asking him, he's got a pretty simple product. And I said, how do you keep your folks innovative when you've got a really elegant, simple product? He said, yeah, every Friday we have a ritual. We call it F Up Fridays. Mm-hmm. I'm like, well, tell me more about this. He's like, yeah, we have a full team meeting, and one by one, each person has to stand up and proudly show what they effed up that week and what they learned from it. And then inevitably someone didn't F something up, and the whole team was like, well, why not? What are you gonna try next week? And so this simple high frequency ritual, zero cost, what's the message? Everybody here is an innovator. Yep. Your job is to push the boundaries.
It's okay to make mistakes.
It's okay to make mistakes.
Yeah.
And so they took a principle, instead of sent being not received, the reps is what allowed it to sink in.